welcome to our very first live workshop session. So this session is called AI Agent SDK Office Hour, and today we have with us Ganesh from the core team who will be running us through on how to actually set up and also run an AI Agent SDK as though you are a beginner. And thank you, Ganesh, for taking your time out today to join us to help us share with the audience on how we can actually do this. So today's agenda is basically that there will be three things we'll be covering. The first thing will be an introduction on what is Covalent, and then we'll go on to the next, which will be an AI Agent SDK overview. So under the Agent SDK overview, we'll talk about what is an AI Agent SDK and why you should use Covalent's AI Agent SDK. And then lastly, we'll end off with Ganesh demoing on how to actually really use the AI Agent SDK. So let's begin then. The first part will be on the introduction. What is covalent? For all those who are new here, Ganesh, you can actually share a little bit more.
Absolutely. So Covalent is a data infrastructure project, and what we build is a modular platform to access on-chain data and other kinds of supporting data, which is not on-chain, like NFTs and prices and so on. And we've been building for a couple of years now, and we have basically hundreds of chain and their on-chain data. This is one of the most granular data products in the space with hundreds of blockchains and basically every single transaction, every single block, every single receipt, every single wallet balance, and there's lots of customers using this data to get token balances, historical transactions, uh, DeFi positions, prices, NFTs, and so on. So that's what Covalent has been building, and this is under the GoldRush brand. And so you can go to goldrush.dev and sign up for an API key. It's a straight up developer tool. And then we've built a bunch of supporting tools over the years. The most recent is the AI Agent SDK. So first is let me just tell you what is an AI agent. Let's go through some basics, and then where we found that there's maybe perhaps a gap in the market or an opportunity to present something new. And so AI agents are the craze, not just in Web3, but also in Web2. So they're basically using a LLM and have some kind of level of consciousness that enables them to do any task. And so there's lots of libraries. Surprisingly, one of the top libraries used in the Web2 space is actually a library called AutoGen from Microsoft. So this is a space where all of the incumbents have gone hardcore into AI agents. And so you see everyone doing this. Yesterday, GitHub announced in GitHub Copilot, they're going to have native agent support. So it's happening across the board. And I think in the future, um, it doesn't matter any kind of like business software. Think about like a CRM where you have to enter your sales information or your marketing database where you have to send leads or design campaigns. All of those will be mostly prompt engineering. So I think all of our roles will become more of a supervisor or a task manager, and being able to tell these agents to do really detailed, give them really detailed sequence of tasks to do, and it gets accomplished. So that's the gist of what's happening with AI agents. Now, why specifically Covalence AI agent and the SDK? So, uh, one of the core ideas behind these AI agents is that in the Web2 stuff, they're mostly business processes like creating leads and sending sales automation emails and so on. But in the Web3 stuff, I think one of the core differentiators is that these AI agents can have access to a private key, can have access to your funds. So now you can build really powerful DeFi agents that do like position management or any kind of process. So that's where the opportunity comes in. So you use on chain data. these AI agents are not going to act on data that comes from outside that's not from a verifiable source. So I think that's pretty important. And so that's where the opportunity is. So why not build this into Eliza or I think Virtuals has a framework called the game framework. And so I think the the it comes down to how the agents are architectured. And we have a lot of interest in building agents that are uh, close to autonomy or close to like being completely autonomous. And so, what does this mean? Most agents today are just like glorified task managers, which means that you give it a task, tell it to do this, and then it goes to an LLM, and then retrieves that result, and boom, that's it, it's done. So there's no real agency, there's no consciousness with these agents. And so the SDK that we've built is manifesting a concept known as Zero Employee Enterprise, ZEE, which basically creates this swarm of agents that are able to essentially iterate and collaboratively solve a problem. And I think this is not just just to do tasks, right? So if you have in the real world, you have a colleague and you ask them, "Hey, do this." Now, this colleague is not always just going to do it, right? It's not just like a task manager. They're going to challenge your assumptions. They're going to push back. They're going to say, "Hey, what about this?" They're going to give you alternate solutions, or flat out say, "I don't have time. I can't do this. It's not within my area of expertise." And just push back, right? And so that's what you're expecting from these agents. That's where things would go. So that is what we are trying to build with the agent SDK. So that's basically the summary. Now let me talk a little bit about what this SDK actually entails, and this is where I'm going to start sharing my screen. You see it?
Yes, I see it. Great.
Awesome. Okay.
So I can see GitHub. So that's where everything will be done, right?
Yes.
All right, great, awesome.
Yeah. Before I actually jump into the code. Uh, okay. Awesome. So the key thing, the most important thing, this is the open source library, so I think it's all built in the open, everything is transparent, is to go to this repo covalenthq.com/AI Agent SDK. And this has a pretty fleshed out README with links to the documentation, the ZEE use cases, and a bunch of buttons here. And read through the README. It's pretty straightforward. But if you want to jump right into building, we've created this really handy tool called Create ZEE App. So if you're familiar with how Next.js or React builds these starter kits, essentially, they have create Next app or create React app, and it creates this complete scaffold. And in some cases, it allows you to pick templates and so on. So you can try this without installing anything, just a single command, npx covalenthq/create z app latest, and it goes through a tutorial on exactly how you can um, start with a template. And I think right now there's only one template, which is a boilerplate, but I believe just today there's a PR, a pull request to add a second template. So we'll be adding templates for DeFi agents, for NFT agents, and all kinds of things. And so we'll do that in a bit. But I just want to walk you through some of the other pieces that's available here. So the second piece is the actual like cxc.build website. So if you go in here, can you guys see my the it's changed to a documentation site?
Yep, we can see that.
Yeah. It's weird in Discord, I can't actually see my own screen. Oh, there you go. I can see it. Okay. Um, so so here's the overview link to the community if you want to connect to our Discord, sorry, our Telegram. Our Telegram is actually quite active. Lots of questions, lots of debugging, and people who are building with this are actually helping us work through and fix some of the bugs Someone actually contributed. There's been a couple of contributions. I'll walk through that as well. Really grateful for that level of engagement. And so this talks about the architecture, what the different pieces are, and how there's a router and every agent has a tool. I'll go through the core concepts in a bit, but this talks about the vision behind the zero employee enterprise, the ZE concept, and how to get started, and so on. And so, if you go to the ZE use case, this is probably the second most important, uh, you know, file here. And if you go here, it talks about some potential use cases. And right now, there's a ETH Global hackathon going on agentic workflows, and there are a couple of people who are trying these things out. So, like a DeFi investment agent. So, what this does is it pulls real-time liquidity and yield farming from GoldRush, and then it monitors and analyzes and optimizes yield strategies. And and then you can also um, farm it out to other kinds of agents to do tax loss harvesting or do rebalancing and things like that. So that's the cool thing here. And so read through this. There's lots of like really cool use cases that you don't always have to use the GoldRush API, but it's like natively integrated with the API. And then let's go through some concepts here. So there's really like four concepts right now, and then there'll be a couple of other concepts that are being introduced in future versions. So first is the LLM. So the LLM is like a thin wrapper. It builds a unified API over LLM. So LLM stands for large language model, and there's lots of these language models, right? There's one, the closed source like OpenAI, and Claude has closed source LLMs, and then there are open source LLMs like from Meta, which is called Llama. Um, there's just lots of LLMs. The another really good LLM that's really become very powerful is an LLM called Gemini from Google. So that's also like pretty cool. And I believe that Gemini is a free tool. Like you can go create an API key without putting in your credit card or something. While most of the other ones, like the closed source, obviously are paid. The open source ones, there might be options to have it hosted, or you can even self-host it using Llama. So that's what's available today. And if you look at OpenAI, it has these models available under the OpenAI provider. It also supports DeepSeek, so you can have the DeepSeek models. And so yeah, that's basically it. And then you have agents, which is essentially uh, it connects to a model, so a basic underlying LLM, and it has a description. It has a couple of instructions on what it's good at, and then each agent has access to tools. So the tools can be, access on-chain data or get latest prices or check the weather, whatever you want, right? So whatever flow is available there. And so yeah, that's basically agents. And then tools. I talked about tools. It can access outside information, and then the actual ZE workflow. So what happens here is that you connect a bunch of agents, and then you say, hey, this is what I want as an output, and then you run the workflow, and then everything just gets streamlined. So that's basically the Z workflow. I'll walk through this in a live demo in a bit. So that's basically what's going on here. So go back to the system architecture. You have any kind of user input. We're undergoing a refactor right now. So this input can come from the command line, can come from a hard-coded string in your source file. It can also connect to a Telegram bot. So you can create a bot to run this workflow. It can be a HTTP server, so you can serve this Z workflow and trigger it from outside. You can connect it to Discord. You can do all kinds of things. So that's what like really triggers the workflow, right? And then the minute you get the input, the router decides what agent to pick for this specific task, and then it tries to complete the task. And then basically now what it does is it ping pongs between the different agents trying to solve the task at hand. So it's kind of neat what's happening. And these workflows themselves have some kind of like short-term memory, so that's stored in the state. So while the workflow is running, the memory is shared between the different agents, But once the workflow is done, there is no long-term memory. So that's something you can plug in an external data source, and we are like cooking up some stuff on our side to enable long-term, basically verifiable memory, so that you can share this with other agents or other swarms. So that's basically the workflow. And I have to do show the GoldRush data set. It's a pretty powerful data set. It gets you token balances, it gets you NFT holdings, transaction history, historical token price, and it's really straightforward to use use the agent with the tools. And so you can give it prompts like, give me the wallet balances of this chain, of this wallet on this chain, and it'll get through the token balances and get you the results. So it's really neat. Okay, so I'm going to jump back into the source code and just show you how it's all laid out if you want to build. So within the packages folder, by the way, docs, everything you find like mistakes with the docs, feel free to contribute to the docs. It's all open source. Um, and so before I jump into the packages, I'm gonna show like the pull request and what has been committed. So you can see like there's a bunch of really cool contributions. So there's someone who's adding Olama support. That's pretty cool. There's a Telegram bot. There is a Twitter tool. I think this person is still working on that. There's an on-chain workflow template. This is pretty cool. It's a draft. So a couple of things. And then if you look at the closed PRs, there's actually some which were like documentation fixes, right? So Vivian Jing, I don't know who this is, but it's pretty cool. So it's global. So this is someone from Taiwan who's contributed this documentation fix. So you can even contribute in a very small way, right? It's pretty cool. So um, so back to the source code. All of the packages are within the packages folder. So you have the create ZE app, the AI agent SDK, and you go in here. Then you have a source, and then you have the core, and then you have all the core products here. So agent, LLM, tools, ZE. And so you can see how basically everything is implemented. So the GoldRush tool is right here. If you want to get token balances, this is basically how you write token balances. So yeah, okay. So that's basically the workflow here. Feel free to kick the tires, check it out. And the Telegram channel is also quite active. So we're actively monitoring and responding to feedback. So now I'm gonna share the actual like ZE workflow and what's gonna happen here. So give me a sec here. Let me figure this out. Any questions so far?
Guys, if you have any questions, feel free to just pop it in the chat. Alternatively, while Ganesh is setting up the live demo, you can actually unmute and ask as well if you guys have any questions. We have a question from Michael. He asks, are all of those LLMs supported?
Yes, they should be supported. I think there's been some challenges with the Gemini LLM because the formats are a bit different. But we have a plan here to switch to another like like a library that supports all of the LLMs because there's like dozens of LLMs out there, and there seems to be one that's coming out all the time. So our focus is mostly on the ZE and that kind of access. So, but these LLMs should be supported. If they're not working for you, then we can take a look at it. But yeah, we are going to switch this out so that you have access to all of the LLMs.
I hope that answers your question, Michael. The next question we have from Karan. What possibilities does the Z workflow open to Web3 related stuff?
Yeah, so I shared the ZE workflow document, and so all of those use cases there are the can use the ZE workflow. So it could be like a DeFi positions management, tax loss harvesting, any NFT verifiable. So I would encourage you to go read the Z use cases document. It has everything built in, including all the steps you can build. And as we build out more and more agent templates, agent use cases, there'll be quick start guides on actually manifesting one of those use cases. Okay, so I think I got it.
I think we have one more question before
Yeah,
you can. By the 18 Warrior, has the overflow issue with the Z workflow where it will loop infinitely on the final boss step been fixed, or is there any addition we can add to the prompt to prevent that?
it fixes in work in progress. Sorry about that, but yeah, I should get it fixed in like later today. It's a good catch. I don't know how
Sounds
I
good.
missed it, but yeah.
All good, all good. I hope that answers your question, the 18th Warrior. All right, now let's tune in to Ganesh's stream and let's watch how he does it live.
Cool. So this is my command line, and you should definitely keep the README open. So this would be npx at Covalent HQ / create ZEE app latest. Say yes. And so what is my so this can be like a workshop demo. So I can type in my key here. Obviously, I'm not going to type my key in public text. I can skip this. I can type anything in so let's say fix me. And then there's only one template right now, just a bare bones template. But you saw there's another PR for a second template. So soon there'll be other templates. So let's say so it's created. So created in this workshop demo folder. So go to this workshop demo. And you can see there's a .env folder with my API key. So I put fix me there, so that's what you're able to see. But if you see the .env.example, it has AI Agent SDK API key and Open AI key. And then if I look at the README to see what's going to happen, there's nothing here. So npm install and npm run dev. So npm install, okay, npm run dev. Awesome. So it runs. Obviously, the key is incorrect and it's failing. So I can fix the key in a bit, but let's go through the source code and see what's going on here, right? So you go to the source, there's an index.ts, and this is the file. So let me just open this up. And you can see there's an agent that's being created, agent one, and it's using the GPT 4.0 mini model. There's a second agent we created. It also has the same description. There's something we need to fix. We should make this like completely like usable. And then it creates a ZE workflow. And then you give it agent one and agent two, and then it runs the Z workflow. And so this will actually ping pong. So I'm not confident that if I actually ran this, if it would give any useful results. So this is an opportunity for anyone on the call to contribute an actual useful agent. And you can just make it as simple as like, what's the, I don't know, like who are you or something like that, right? It's just a template. But yeah, that's basically it. I think that's the bulk of what this workflow is. There's been some really interesting use cases being built by teams in the ETH Global Hackathon. Remember, this like whole SDK is like less than 10 days old, so it's brand new. So we're actively fixing issues as they come up. So yeah, I'm excited to see where this lands. And we are also using this agent SDK to build our own internal agents. So we're pushing it pretty hard. So we should see, like one or two agents come out in the next couple of weeks. So pretty exciting stuff, and it's only going to get. I would say this is the least featureful you're ever going to see this SDK. We're just going to continue like improving this over time.
All right. Thank you, Ganesh, for showcasing how we can actually use this AI agent SDK. As what Ganesh has mentioned, uh, this agent is only out for 10 days. So a lot of fine tuning is still involved, and definitely, whoever is here, feel free to contribute to all the fixes and all the suggestions as well. We are definitely open to that. And uh, once again, I just want to say that for the AI agent SDK office hours, this is just the beginning of the many sessions that we are going to continue to host in the future. So there will be a lot of other workshops as well to help our community to better understand how to maximize their time in Covalent when it comes to developing and also to understand how Covalent actually works, right? So thank you all for tuning in today's SDK Office Hour with Ganesh. And also thank you, Ganesh, for hosting today's session. We did have a little hiccup there, but it was quick to fix. Thank you so much. And also very happy to see that we have so many people here today and looking forward to the next session. So thank you so much, Ganesh, for taking this, and thank you everyone for tuning in today's session. If you are looking for the recording, we have recorded this session. We just need to process a little bit, and then we will be sharing it with everyone really soon. And once again, thank you everyone, and have a great
Just
weekend.
one more thing. This is going to be a weekly session. So next week I'm going to show multimodal features. We continue to add like really compelling features. So probably some image processing or something next week. So it's going to be a weekly session, same time. And yeah, just give you an update. It's going to be pretty chill. We're still exploring if like Twitter is the right venue or Discord is the right venue. So we'll get that in. I think there's like lots of technical challenges we need to still overcome. Anyways, have a great time, guys. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Ganesh. You practically leaked the entire alpha for everybody. Thank you so much once again.
Awesome. Bye.
All right, catch you guys soon. Have a great weekend.